Hi there, and welcome to the Salt and Pepper, where we cook for real life using real food and we keep it real simple. And today we're going to do a little comparison between the new Instant Pot Duo Crisp and the Ninja Foodi 8-quart. So I ordered the Instant Pot Duo Crisp as soon as I heard it was released. And I was really excited just to see, how well does it do compared to the Ninja Foodi. I love the Ninja Foodi, and all of my recipes are made in the Ninja Foodi. However, this is going to be wonderful if people can choose between the Ninja Foodi and the Duo Crisp and be able to make the same recipes. So this will be great for everyone, and then you can decide which one you want. So I decided to order it, and I was not given either one of these products. I have purchased them myself, so my reviews are completely honest, and we're gonna go through it pretty quickly, and then we're gonna get to cooking some French fries because I wanna see them in action. All right, so the Duo Crisp. The great benefit that everyone's been talking about is that the lid removes. So this is the air crisper lid on the Duo Crisp, and this is the air crisper lid on the Ninja Foodi. Well, the Ninja Foodi, the lid lifts up, but it stays hinged in the back. So there is no removing it. It is always there. When you go to pressure cook, you just put your pressure cook lid here on top, and that stays up. Then when you're done pressure cooking, you remove that pressure cook lid, and when you're gonna store it, you put the air crisper lid, the tender crisp lid down. So the Duo Crisp is a little bit different. It's still a pressure cooker and an air crisper, but the lid comes off. And this is the Duo Crisp lid. There's a handle here, so you pull it straight up to remove it. But it's heavy. It weighs about 6 pounds, which doesn't sound like a lot, but if you're short like me and you're trying to hold it up, over top so you can look in here, it is heavy. So just so you know that. Now it does come with a very nice little pad here that you can set it on, so that needs to stay on the countertop next to where you're cooking so that you can put the crisping lid down on this little disc, I'm gonna call it. So the disc has two sides to it. This side is the side that you put your lid down, and it's clearly marked. All right, then the other side has these little grooves on it, and this is where you put the lid for storing it. So you lift it up, and this is after it's cooled, okay? So first, you have to cool it on this side. Once it's completely cooled and you wanna put the lid away, you can flip it over and then put your lid on, and it locks into place. Well, let me say it sits into place. It doesn't exactly lock. I'm having a little bit of an issue here. Okay, so there it goes, and I think that's locked. So nope, that's not. Let's see. It's not the easiest thing. It's not difficult by any stretch of the imagination, but just getting everything lined up. I haven't done it enough, I guess. Okay, so there it is. So now it's in place, and you could store it that way. But if you just move it a little bit, it'll come off like that. So that's designed, I guess, just to sit it in your cabinet or something like that. All right, so that is the crisper lid and the little disc. Now, how this works is there is these prongs right back here on the lid, and then there's the receptacle where the prongs fit into right here. So that's how the electricity gets generated and connected so that the lid works. So you just line it up and you just set it on. So it's fairly easy to get on and off, but it is heavy. So it's 6.4 pounds, something like that, right around there. So again, it doesn't seem heavy, but when you're going to check on things, and that's gonna be my next point. Okay, so when we're air crisping, whether we have pressure cooked or not, and we're just using the air crisping lid, doesn't matter. A lot of times you wanna flip your food. With the Ninja Foodi with the lid attached, it is very easy. You just lift it up, flip your food, put it back down. Pretty simple. It's gonna be a little more cumbersome with the Instant Pot Duo Crisp because again, you have to lift it up. Now, if you can hold it, you could obviously hold it, but remember, this element is gonna be super hot, so you don't wanna just set it down anywhere. You wanna either hold it up and hold it up away from you, toss your food, and then put it back on, line it back up, and put it back on. Or you can put it on your tray. So you could always lift it up and put it on your tray. Now, personally, I prefer the Ninja Foodi with the lid attached. That just seems a lot easier to me. I happen to be on the shorter side, and so for me, lifting this up, it's just getting a little too cumbersome for me to be able to deal with the high pot. These both are 8 quarts, by the way. So the 6.5 quart for the Ninja Foodi is a little bit lower. It's a little bit easier for me to work with at this counter height. So I prefer this lid from the Ninja Foodi, but I know a lot of people are excited about the Duo Crisp removable lid. So I would say that's probably a matter of preference, but just so you know, you do have to be careful with it, and it is pretty heavy. All right, so let's talk about the inner liners of the pots, because some people are gonna be really excited about this. First, let me pull out the baskets. And I'm just gonna set those over here for now. We'll get to that in just a minute. But I wanna talk about the pots. Okay, so it's stainless. That is gonna be a huge selling point for a lot of people, I know. I wish Ninja Foodi would come out with a stainless pot for sure. So it is stainless. This one, the Ninja Foodi, is ceramic coated. So this one's non-stick, this one is not a non-stick. So again, personal preference. Now side by side, these are both 8 quarts, but the Instant Pot Duo Crisp is just a little bit, like maybe 1/4 of an inch taller. So I don't think that that's gonna make any difference whatsoever. The interesting thing to me was the way the baskets looked. So this is the Ninja Foodi 8-quart basket. And it's got the diffuser legs, which I absolutely love. I think they work great, and they just pop off like that for easy cleaning. So I really am a fan of this basket. I haven't used this one yet, so we're gonna use it together when we do these fries in just a minute. So it's a similar design, but not exactly. You can see that this is a little curved in its pattern underneath here, and this one is just something that sits right on the edges, so there's nothing that's curved about it. This was designed for better airflow, so it'll be interesting when we do the French fries. These are called diffuser legs, do they work better than this design? Because this is a very simple design, but it does pop off. Let me leave them off because I wanted you to see the bottoms, because it's sort of an illusion, but not exactly, but the diameter is a little bit smaller on the Duo Crisp basket. Not by much. It looks, I think, more than it actually is. So let's go from here. I'm trying to get right to the edge. It is curved a little bit. So I'm gonna say it's about 8¼ inches. We'll do the same thing here. And this is about 8¼ inches, really. So if I'm doing it, it might be 8 inches. Just depending on, it's hard to measure when something's curved like that. So let's do it this way. Let's see. Again, it is just a fraction, but it is a fraction smaller that I can see. It looks just a little bit smaller. So probably not enough to worry about, but we all know that space is a huge factor when you're using anything that pressure cooks and air crisps, because you want to try to fit as much in as you can. And so even that little bit of a fraction may make a difference on this pot. Not sure yet, we'll see. All right, so those fit back in. So those are the baskets. Now let's get to the racks that come with both of these appliances, because that's where the differences really start to happen. I can just put this right over here for now. All right, so the racks or trivets. I have to get to this in a minute. I'm gonna pull the basket back over because this is kind of neat in principle, but I don't think it's gonna be that effective, honestly. But that's another accessory that came with the Instant Pot Duo Crisp. All right, so this is the rack that comes with the Instant Pot Duo Crisp. It is reversible. So this is the low position. So you would put whatever pot, whatever container you're going in to pressure cook or air crisp, if that's what you're doing, and you would put it inside of the pot. That's the low position. Then this is the high position, where you then flip it over. But how do you raise it in and out? I guess you put it in first and then put your container in there. So that's fine. This is an 8-inch Fat Daddy-O pan by 2 inches. And you could probably get a 3-inch pan there on top. But the issue is, besides for something that's right in the bottom, like if you're doing rice or something like that, you really are very limited with the way that you can layer things using this trivet that comes with it. So I did another test. I put it on low, and I put the 8-inch pan on here, and I thought, oh, okay, that's gonna work, so that's good, because the diameters are about the same, but guess what? It does not fit in there correctly. And I did make it work, and I scratched my pot. So an 8-inch pan will not fit in the bottom of the Instant Pot Duo Crisp. I find that to be, with this rack, and I find that to be a little troublesome because it's really gonna limit what you can cook. So I do a lot of 360 meals, and so I will put 3 layers in the Ninja Foodi. So I'll put rice, potatoes, whatever I want in the bottom, and then I'll put another component of the meal here, and then I'll put another component on top, and I'm able to get 3 layers easily in the Ninja Foodi, even in the 6.5 quart. It doesn't have to be the 8 quart for that. So you're really gonna be limited with the Instant Pot Duo Crisp with this rack. So you may wanna see if you can pick up one of these racks because they do fit. And this is the rack for the Ninja Foodi. So that will fit in there. So as much as I have complained about the Ninja Foodi rack, and I do complain about it a lot, it wins hands down over the Instant Pot Duo Crisp rack. Hands down. Okay, so that's the rack, or the 2 racks. I mean, look how tiny that is. It's so tiny. All right, so let's get back to the basket in this thing. It took me a while to figure out, first of all, what is it? And secondly, how does it work? Because when I first put it in, I knew it went here, but it looks like it sits on top, and it feels like it sits on top of the basket, which if you put this in, you would be so close to the heating element here, that would be horrible. You wouldn't be able to cook anything. You would just be burning it. So anyway, my husband, he's wonderful. He thought there's got to be a different way to do it. And there is. You put it in a little sideways and it slips in and it creates a double layer on the crisping basket. So that's nice in certain ways. I mean, that's not a feature that we have with the Ninja Foodi basket. However, there are racks that go inside to make this a double layer, and they work great. So I don't see that as a real loss or a real win, but it is kind of a cool feature on the Duo Crisp. All right. Next thing we want to talk about, I'm not going to talk about the pressure lid for the Ninja Foodi because it is very basic. It works fine, but there is something about the Instant Pot Duo Crisp that I thought was worth mentioning. And this is probably on a lot of Instant Pot models. So if you're an Instant Pot owner, you probably already know this. But instead of flipping a switch when you want to vent, we have a valve on the Ninja Foodi pressure lid. You simply push this button down and it raises up this vent here, and then it's vented. So that's kind of nice. I mean, I don't have an issue though with turning a valve, so it doesn't really do anything for me, but it is kind of a nice feature I wanted to point out. Now, originally, I wanted to do what these are designed to do, and that is pressure cooking something and then crisping it up afterwards. I mean, that is the beauty of these 2 machines. So I wanted to try them out, both of them doing both functions. However, unfortunately, my Instant Pot Duo Crisp was delivered with a huge dent in the side. I mean, huge. And so it is not safe for me to pressure cook in this. I contacted Kohl's where I got it from, and they were very, very helpful and kind, but they are out of stock, and so they have refunded my money. And so the jury will be out, will I buy another Instant Pot Duo Crisp? I doubt it because the Ninja Foodi does everything I need, but we'll see. We'll see after we do these French fries, right? All right, so no pressure cooking today, but we are gonna do some French fries. So what I have done is pre-soaked some hand-cut French fries for about an hour. And if you wanna learn about how to make French fries hand-cut, I will link to that video right up there, and you can do that yourself. It's really quick and easy, and they taste delicious. So we are gonna do a little bit of cooking now. All right, so I just got the potatoes draining on some paper towels because you want to have them nice and dry before you put them into the Ninja Foodi or the Instant Pot Duo Crisp to crisp up. But real quick, I wanted to talk about the lid and the weights of the two, because that is another thing that people really talk about, is how heavy the Ninja Foodi is. And the Instant Pot Duo Crisp is a little bit lighter, but that comes with some issues in my opinion. So let me get this lid on here. And it's the same principle as any pressure lid. Obviously, you just sit it in and then turn it and it locks into place. Now again, we're not going under pressure because of this big old dent here. So people talk about how heavy the Ninja Foodi is. I mean, I could pull it and move it, but you can't just push it around. It is a stable appliance, let me tell you. When I started working with this and was putting the lid on and off, I was amazed at how it just runs away from you. That I did not like at all. I felt like it was gonna slip right off the counter. I mean, it just slides. So it's lighter. But to me, that is not something I'm comfortable with. So I would definitely have to put something rubber underneath to keep it from slipping and sliding around, because you just accidentally do one thing and boom, it's off the counter, and that would be a disaster. So I think even though it's heavier and people complain about that, I think Shark Ninja got it right by doing a nice heavy base that does not move around easily, because again, this is to me just crazy. I mean, you should be able to take on and off the lid without jiggling the whole thing around. So I don't like that at all. So let's see, does it do that when we put the crisper lid on? Because the crisper lid is heavy. Like I said, it's six point something pounds. So that might weight it down a little bit. Let's see. Yeah, it does. See, that to me is not good. And when I think about it being so light and then it dented so easily here, obviously I don't know what caused it because it came like that. I'm just thinking there might need to be some improvements on the base design itself. So that I'm not real happy with. I mean, look, I want to turn it, obviously, because that's what I'm used to doing. You don't turn this one. But if you do turn it, it just turns the whole machine around. All right, there we go. Let's get that back off and on to the little disc or trivet, whatever you want to call it. All right, so again, I can't pressure cook, but I'm assuming that Instant Pot has that right. So I wanted to go over some of the features of both of these so that you can know what the buttons are. So the Ninja Foodi I'm really familiar with because I do a ton of recipes in the Ninja Foodi. And so you are able to pressure cook, steam, slow cook, sear, saute. You can also air crisp or tender crisp, as they call it air crisp. It's the tender crisp lid, but you air crisp. You can bake, roast, broil, dehydrate, and the newer model also has a yogurt function. The newer 8-quart deluxe model has a yogurt function, but I can make yogurt right in here using the dehydrate button, so it doesn't matter to me about the yogurt function at all on the newer model. That's why I don't have it. The newer model has a turn dial, which I'm not a fan of. So that's another reason why I don't have the newer model. I'm just not a fan of that feature. But everybody can make their own decisions about that. But just know that you can get the 8-quart Ninja Foodi, the older model, and it's pretty reasonably priced now. It's about $189 for the 8-quart, and that is pretty comparable to I've seen prices from $179 up to $229 on the Instant Pot Duo Crisp. But Kohl's did just have a great sale. That is over. They're out of stock, but they did just have a great sale when it first came out, and you were able to pick this up for, I think it was like $150 some. So that's a pretty good deal. But I'm still leaning towards the Ninja Foodi as my preference, mostly because I like that the crisping lid stays up. That's easier for me to deal with, especially when you're kind of toggling hot foods and stuff. I like that, and I like the weight of it. So it just seems to be better quality, in my opinion. All right, so let's go over the functions of the Instant Pot Duo Crisp, and I am not as familiar with them, so I'm gonna probably read them to you. So pressure cook, obviously, saute, slow cook, steam. So those are all the same as the Ninja Foodi model. Air fry. Roast and bake are two different buttons, but I pretty much guarantee you they do the same thing. Broil, and we do have a broil on the Ninja Foodi. Dehydrate, so it does that. Keep warm. We have a keep warm. This has a delay start, so that might be something of interest. Although you really do need to think about food safety when you do delay starts, because there are certain foods that you don't want to sit unheated for any period of time because bacteria can multiply. So just be safe with that function. But there is a delay start on this. There's also a sous vide button. And that excites a lot of people. Oh, I can use it as a sous vide cooker. So I did a little experiment today and I set it up. I have a sous vide cooker, and so I set this up on sous vide and I put it on 140 degrees. I put in 16 cups of water into the stainless steel pot. I got a stainless steel pot that was pretty much identical to this one, and I put 16 cups of water in that. I let my standalone sous vide cooker and this come up to the temperature. It took about 16 minutes for my standalone immersion type of sous vide cooker that I have to bring it up to 140, the 16 cups of liquid. It took 16 minutes for it to come all the way up to 140, and then it held it pretty much precisely within just a couple of, tenths of a degree, indefinitely. It would have just held it there. This one, however, even after 35 minutes, it never got to 140. It was at about 137. You may not think that those 3 degrees matter, but they do sometimes in sous vide cooking. So just know that it's probably not going to work as great as a standalone. It might be able to do fair, but I would not buy this for the sous vide function. That's pretty much the bottom line. The other things that's different about the immersion sous vide cookers is that they circulate the water around, and this obviously does not. So it's just standing water that's just heated, just like a pot of simmering water. So, but it's supposed to regulate the temperature, but it never got hot enough for the 140 that I set it to. So anyway, I mean, it's a benefit, but I don't think it is a huge selling point because I don't think it's that accurate. All right, so I think that's about it. So they pretty much do the same things. This one does not have a yogurt button either. And of course, the newer model of the 8-quart Ninja Foodi does, but my model does not. But you can make yogurt with the dehydration function on the Ninja Foodi, and you most likely could make it with the Instant Pot Duo Crisp. And I will link to that video right up there because that is super easy and the yogurt is delicious. All right, so real quick before we get to cooking, because I know I keep saying that, real quick, let's get to cooking. That's the most important part. I mean, really, how do they measure up side by side? So that's what we're gonna see. But first, I just wanted to tell you what comes with the Instant Pot Duo Crisp is a little getting started guide. So it just goes over some basics, and it is pretty basic. I will say that the Ninja Foodi, Shark Ninja did a much better job with their manuals. They go much more into depth, and there's just a lot more information there. There was not a lot in these books. It's very basic. Maybe there's more online. I'm not sure. I haven't done a lot of research, but in this book, it's very minimal. And then there's a safety, maintenance, and warranty little pamphlet too. So there's no recipe book though. The Ninja Foodi comes with a recipe book. I don't think that's a deal breaker either, but just wanted to mention it. So the Instant Pot does have a little cheat sheet here, and I looked through some of these, and some of them I happen to know they're not accurate. So some of these times are not accurate. So please, whenever you're following cooking timetables that are mass produced, just use your judgment because a lot of times they're not accurate. So, all right, there we go. Now let's get those French fries and let's get both of these pots preheating on broil. I'm gonna do that Preheat on broil with the basket in. So I'm gonna put the basket here and we're gonna go preheat on broil. We're gonna do 10 minutes for both machines. So turn this on, hit broil, defaults, and hit start. Okay, now let's lift this up. So if you don't have good upper body strength, this is not for you. I wouldn't even try it. I would get the Ninja Foodi. I'm just gonna say that because it's just heavy. All right, there we go. Now let's see it. Let's go to broil. So broil, this is interesting. Now this is something different. Broil goes to 400 degrees on the Instant Pot Duo Crisp. Broil gets up to 425 degrees on the Ninja Foodi. So we are also going to go through some of these temperatures. I did not think about that before I started the video. I sort of assumed they were going to be the same, and it looks like they're not. So the Ninja Foodi gets hotter, 425 degrees. That can make a huge difference when you're cooking, especially when I just made my perfect roast beef in the Ninja Foodi, and I will link to that video right up there for you guys, and check it out. It's absolutely delicious and so easy to do. All right, let me get those French fries, and then we'll get to cooking. All right, so about 7 minutes into the preheat, I noticed that even though I started the Instant Pot Duo Crisp after I started the Ninja Foodi, the time was showing less. So I thought, oh, maybe I didn't hit 10 minutes on this one. I'm so used to the Ninja Foodi defaulting to 10 minutes, I didn't check. So I went ahead and I reset them both for 5 more minutes to make sure that they are equally heated. But again, the Ninja Foodi is going to be hotter because it comes up to a 425 degrees. I will tell you that both of the lids feel about the same in the heat that they're putting off, so that's no difference. They're not hot to touch or anything like that. You're not going to burn yourself on either one. They sound about the same, so I don't see any differences in that at all either. This might be a tiny bit quieter when the fan really kicks in on this, but for most of the cooking, they've been identical. So we should have, about 2 minutes left to go. And interestingly enough, what happens is the Instant Pot does not do seconds. So this says 2 minutes, and this says 1 minute 8 seconds. So we're gonna see, and I set my timer as well, because I wanna see if this isn't counting down the right time. That's a big deal, guys. So let's see what happens here. And so far, the Ninja Foodi is right on the money with what I have on my phone, and so is the Instant Pot Duo Crisp now. So I guess it just throws you off a little bit because you don't see the seconds. So that seems to be fine now. It's about 10 seconds difference maybe. And I thought I set them exactly at the same time and hit the button at the exact same time, but that is a small margin of error. That certainly could be mine. So I certainly can't make any kind of a judgment whether or not the timing is accurate or not, but something that I will definitely keep an eye on. So once the Ninja Foodi finishes its preheat, then it'll go to cool for a second, and I'll see what the Instant Pot does, because I have not used the Instant Pot Duo Crisp at all. This is the first time, so we're gonna do it together. See how it goes. All right, so they ended at the same time. The fan is on here. Okay, so about the same. No big deals. All right, so while the heat is still in, I'm just gonna spritz these with a little bit of oil. These are those hand-cut French fries. And a little bit of salt, and toss them around, and then we're gonna get equal amounts in to both of the machines here. Now I could weigh these out to be exact, but I'm not going to worry about that. It's not a big enough deal. I'm gonna put a single layer down on both. All right, that looks good. Okay, now, so let me do what I know first, right? All right, so I'm gonna open the lid and go ahead and put these in, and they sizzle. That's what I want. That looks like about half there. That looks good. Maybe one more. Okay, so that looks good. All right, so I'm gonna put the lid down here and go ahead and start the Ninja Foodi. So I'm gonna turn it on and we're gonna go to air crisp and I'm gonna do 390 and I'm gonna start off with 10 minutes. And I'll check them periodically and flip them around. So now we have to put in the French fries in the Instant Pot Duo Crisp. And I always want to turn it. You lift it straight up. Remember, super hot. It's got to go down there. Okay. So let's go ahead and get these in. Got to sizzle. All right, lift it back up. All right, now let's go to air fry and take the temp down. I'm having a hard time seeing this. And we'll take the time down to 10 minutes as well and hit the start button. Okay, so let them do their magic and we'll check back and see how the fries are crisping up in about 5 minutes. All right, so we just have about 30 seconds before we're gonna flip these fries around in the Ninja Foodi. And then, of course, we're a little bit delayed here because I started that afterwards. So once I flip the French fries here, I wanna talk about the design and the colors and the various aesthetics, I guess, between the two. Obviously, you can see them, but I like the look of the Ninja Foodi much better, personally. All right, let's give these a flip. Oh, they're looking good already. They're just starting to brown up a little bit. They are not near done, though. All right, so let's put that lid down because you don't want to leave the lid off too long or all your heat goes out. So that's another reason why I really like this. Lift it up, flip it around, put it back down. I think it's going to be a little more cumbersome with this one. So we have a minute left, so I think I can talk about the height difference. So the height on this Ninja Foodi 8-quart is about 1.25 inches less than the height with the air crisping lid on the Instant Pot Duo Crisp. But I don't think that it's designed to be stored with the air crisping lid on. So, I'm just letting you know. It is higher by 1.25 inches about. All right, so let's flip these. Now I'm right-handed. All right, so I'm gonna lift it up here. I should have timed myself doing this. And we're gonna move them around and I'll bring one out. And they're looking a little brown too. Now I don't know what that little beep was. Oh, it's telling me the lid's off, okay. Now, hopefully it will resume right away. It does, good, okay. That's good, because if it canceled it out, that would be really inconvenient, but it didn't. Okay, good deal. So we'll go 3.5 more minutes here and flip again. I think they're gonna need a little bit longer. I like my fries really crunchy though, so you can use your own judgment on how long you leave them in. There's no set time, just until they're done to your liking. All right, so some of the other differences between the Ninja Foodi and the Instant Pot Duo Crisp is the Ninja Foodi comes in colors. The 6.5-quart has a variety of colors that you can choose from, and the 8-quart has just now, not the newer model, I don't think. I think it's this model, has now been released in some colors too. So you can really get it to match the style of your kitchen. This one is, pretty basic. I mean, it's stainless steel. It's not unattractive, but I'm not thrilled with the design of it. I don't like it with the pressure lid on. I don't really like it with the crisping lid on. I'm just not a huge fan of the way it looks. I'm pretty proud to keep my Ninja Foodi right on the countertop. And I think it looks good and it matches the kitchen really well. This one, I think I would probably store in a cabinet. I'm just not a huge fan of it. Now it's telling me to turn the food. That's interesting, I don't know why, but it's telling me to turn the food. But I don't really want to turn the food because I just turned the food. So I guess if you ignore it, there we go. So it goes back on, so you can ignore that. I'm not sure why it says that. I read that there are some presets that you can do, although I don't see really where they are, but I did read that in the manual that there's some presets that will do that, and maybe this is what they consider a preset. I'm not sure. I did look over the manual, but I have not studied it completely. Okay, we finished the 10 minutes here. I'm gonna let it finish the cool down, and then I'm gonna take a peek here, and they are looking good, but they are not quite done yet. Now, some people might like them this way, so I'm gonna take one out, but I don't. Now, I like to do this very quickly because I wanna keep that heat in there. I'm gonna go back to the Air Crisp 390 is fine, and I would like to go to 5 minutes. All right, so this looks good. I mean, it's done. So that happened fast, didn't it? That's what I don't like, that it doesn't show seconds. It's a little confusing. All right. And again, it just moves around on the countertop. Too much for me. I'm looking for one that looks about the same amount of doneness as the Ninja Foodi. All right, let's get this back on pretty quickly. Let me turn it back so I can see what I'm doing. And we're going to air fry 390, and we're gonna go to 5 minutes and hit start. Okay. All right, so this one is done, and it's good, but it's not crispy enough for me. But the center is cooked really well. It tastes great, but I want mine crisper. Okay, this one is not as crispy. Doesn't have the crunch. Not as good, but we're not done yet. All right, so the Ninja Foodi is just about finishing up here with our French fries, and I'm gonna do a taste test, compare the two with texture, crispiness, those kind of things, and then stick around to the very end because I'm gonna give my final thoughts on these two products. All right, oh, they look so good. Okay, they are nice and crispy. They are perfectly cooked. I love the way fries turn out in the air fryer. Really love them. You could even go longer. I mean, if you liked fries even crispier, you could go longer, you know? But these are good for me. I mean, they're crispy. They taste like they're fried. Mmm, so delicious. All right. Let me get this up. Set down on that thing. Always have that available because you don't want to sit it down on your countertops. All right, these feel pretty crisp too. I'm not sure if they're as dark. Maybe some of them are. You can see in the picture, you can judge for yourself. I mean, they're not bad. I'm not saying that they didn't do a good job. They did a pretty good job. So let's make sure that I pick one that are even sizes to be fair here. Let's see, these two look about the same, same width and everything like that. So okay, crispy skin, nice inside. That's very good. Again, not quite as crispy of the outside. That very end was. Not as crispy. So I probably would have gone 2 to 3 more minutes on the Instant Pot Duo Crisp to get the same amount of crispness as the Ninja Foodi did. So, but all in all, they are very comparable. I just happen to prefer these a little bit better. All right, so my final thoughts are that based on all the things that are important to me, the Ninja Foodi wins hands down. This would be the appliance that I would pick. I like the weight of it. It doesn't move around on the counter. I like the ease of lifting and closing the lid. It makes it super easy to do. You don't need any upper body strength or anything. So for those reasons and the fact that the fries are better, I'm sticking with the Ninja Foodi. However, I do not think the Instant Pot Duo Crisp is a bad product. It's very comparable. So if that is what is in your budget, then definitely, and you can get it on sale on a good deal, then certainly grab one. Just hopefully it won't have that dent in it, and you'll be fine. And I think that all of my recipes that I do in the Ninja Foodi will certainly convert very easily to the Instant Pot Duo Crisp.